Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to This Is a Rewind, a look back at what wrestling used to and possibly still should be. With me, as always, is my tag team partner, Shelby, Death Ray Patterson. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Doggz?
I am just medium.
Just medium? Why are you just medium right now?
We've talked about my kidney stones, and so...
Yes, listeners, it's been a journey. It's been a battle with these kidney stones, and I'm so sorry that you've been having to go through this.
It's tough, but I'm keeping myself well medicated, so we're going to be fine. We're going to get through this.
Well, you're well medicated, and you're also well distracted, right? Because there's so much going on now.
There's
Question mark?
There is a little bit going on.
Yeah.
There's a couple things in the wrestling world that's going on.
Just a few. A few.
I'm not sure if the wrestling world's familiar with this, but I've got the inside scoop. Apparently, Vince McMahon has retired from his position. Retired, quote unquote.
Yeah, I feel like everyone who's a wrestling fan is going to have that moment of like, where were you when you heard that Vince retired?
Right.
You know, because I've said on the podcast before, I watch this channel called Wrestle Talk, and they literally did a breaking news update at a party.
Yeah.
Like, they literally stopped the party and were like, guys, we have to do a video on this. Like, Vince McMahon just left WWE.
Yeah.
Like, I think this is going to, I mean, it already has, because the news came out like a couple of days ago, maybe a week ago at this point.
Yeah, it's unclear because we're not really sure when this is going to be online. So.
Well, just for everyone's reference, we are recording this at the end of July.
Yeah.
Like the very last week of July. Whenever this comes out, we're not sure, but some other shit has probably happened in the time span of when we're saying this to when you're hearing this. But it has already taken effect.
Oh my God.
And so much change has already happened.
I mean, Triple H is back.
Like, really back.
It's you know what? Can you take us through, because so much has happened.
Yes.
And in order for us to do our subject matter today, is that we gotta go through this.
Yeah. So listeners, if you haven't already catched on, we are talking about Vince McMahon this episode.
Catched on?
Catched on? Is that what I said? I heard it. I heard it when I said it.
That.
Caught on. If you haven't caught on yet, we're talking about Vince McMahon. Now, in the beginning...
Let me pour you another glass.
Thank you. Give me another soft, please. In the beginning, we were going to do an episode about Vince, but it wasn't going to be about what we're about to talk about.
Right.
It was going to be about some cringy angles that he has done over the past, right?
Yeah, just fun, crazy old Vince.
Right. And then this shit happened, and we're just like, we have to talk about it.
Yeah.
So I thought it would be beneficial for people who maybe don't know what's going on, just to kind of run down the past month of events.
Let's go through the
timeline. So June 15th, Vince McMahon started to be investigated by the WWE Board of Directors for
Pourquoi, Shelby?
Yes, if you can believe it, for sexual misconduct. Actually.
Balderdash.
Yes. So the whole thing started with this paralegal who used to work for WWE.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the time frame of this is.
I want to say it was 2006, but I'm not 100% on that.
Early 2000s, we'll say. Vince McMahon, and this paralegal were in a consensual affair for years, apparently. And what happened was, during that time, allegedly, Vince McMahon gave her a $100,000 raise while they were having this affair. And then later on, when she left the company, paid her hush money to not talk about their affair.
Right.
Now, that's not illegal. It's kind of icky, but it's not illegal technically.
True.
The illegal part is if he actually did give her a raise, because that's using company funds to fund his affair.
Right.
So that's kind of how this whole thing started. Like the Wall Street Journal broke.
Have we seen a picture of her yet?
No, I don't think so.
I need to see a picture of her.
I don't know if you will. I would think she would be private about all this because she's not a talent, right? She's a paralegal, so I would think maybe I think her name has been mentioned. I don't think her face has been out there.
No, it hasn't. That's why that's why I was wondering. I was like, has she been out there? I don't know if I've been just under the radar or not.
I don't think so. Now, listeners, if you do know, like, let us know. But
send us a pic.
Right. But also this kind of brought in John Laurinaitis into the picture as well, because apparently, and this is, I hate this quote so much. It makes me cringe. Apparently, she was passed off to John Laurinaitis.
That is a very I'm sure it's not. Okay, look, I know I'm giving a lot of credit here, but I'm sure it's not like that.
I hope it's not, because that sounds horrible.
I don't want to think that it's like that, because it's, I mean, it's a new millennium. I mean, I don't know. I'd like to think that we don't do things like that anymore.
But it's Johnny Ace, though.
It is Johnny Ace.
And he has a huge reputation of treating the women in WWE very poorly and giving them just shit storylines.
Yes.
To making them very sexualized. So I would not put it past it that it would be in that sort of nature. But regardless, it happened. 2 days later, so June 17th, Vince McMahon steps down from being CEO. Now, when we say step down, I'm saying in huge air quotes, right? Because at this point, he is still head of creative.
Yeah.
He is still overseeing everything. It's just Stephanie McMahon has stepped in as interim.
Right. And it's noteworthy that Stephanie McMahon had just left the company.
In disgrace, essentially.
Yeah. Because, she said she was leaving the company to take care of her home life.
Yes, that is true. But when I say disgrace, I mean she said that, and they literally were raking her name through the mud as she was walking out the door.
Yeah, they kind of
They were saying she's not competent to do this job. That's why she's leaving, blah, 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 blah. And then literally, like, not even a month later, they asked her to come back and be interim.
And just, my 2 cents, I never believed that for a second.
No.
Stephanie has been doing this since she was 17 years old.
Right.
She's been working with the talent, working with creative, working with the accounts that WWE has, and Titan Entertainment.
She probably knows more than Vince does at this point.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past, at least as much.
With the everyday ins and outs of everything.
Sure, absolutely.
So this is the part that one of the things that shocked me, but it shocked me in the moment. The very day that he steps down as CEO, he appears on SmackDown.
Yes, he does.
And basically just has the air of business as usual.
And got a real pop for this. It
wasn't piped.
No, it was not.
It was not. And that's what freaked me out the most. I'm like, y'all all know what has happened, right? Yeah.
I think the reason that they popped so hard is because we thought we were gonna hear something.
That's true. That's why the numbers for SmackDown went way up that day, because he literally stepped down, and then they announced on Twitter that he was going to be on SmackDown. So I think at that point, not a lot of people, but some people probably thought this was a work.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you're like, why in the world would he show up on SmackDown when he has this huge allegation hanging over him to the point where he has to step down, right?
And for those of you that would say, well, I don't think they would try to work this angle, folks, they worked Vince McMahon's death at the same time that Chris Benoit happened. So you can't put anything past them.
Yeah. And basically, he comes to the ring, and all he says, the gist of it is, at times like these, we really need to stick together. And he does the whole phrase of like, then
now, forever.
And most importantly, together. And then he walks off.
And just, yeah.
And so apparently, after he says that, he walks off back into Gorilla, and this is a quote from him, reportedly shouted, "Fuck 'em."
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes.
And I am not surprised, not one iota.
Yeah, so he's just no-selling the entire scandal, right? Like,
I would expect nothing less.
So,
I'll be honest, if I was in his position, I wouldn't. I would no-sell it too.
Yeah.
I mean,
so in between June 17th and July 8th, more shit has come out.
yes.
Right? More outlets have started to investigate this issue. Like, non-wrestling entities are now aware that this is going down. Yeah. Like, because the Wall Street Journal was the one who broke it in the first place.
Right.
Right? So it says for July 8th, they find out that there's way more money that he has paid.
So how much
money.
more? A couple thousand, or maybe five grand?
Like a little bit more than that. More like 12 million. Yeah. 12 million was the total number of amount that he paid.
See,
in
I
hush
think
money.
you and I heard different numbers because I heard 14.
Oh, really? Okay.
I did.
Well, either way, what's 2 more billion? Am I right?
I'm not really.
So, so yeah, I think it's because the article that I'm reading from Forbes. And it says additional settlements ranged from 1 million to a stunning 7.5 million in alleged hush money. Accusations against McMahon included sending nude photos and coercing a former wrestler to perform oral sex.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Keeping it classy.
Yes,
Vince.
Kara, that is the appropriate response. Kara is now gagging. Yes.
I just want
Do we have to put a disclosure on this episode? Like, this may be triggering.
I think we're probably going to have to, but I just...
Sorry,
Can
everyone.
you imagine? Come on. I'll send you a picture of my junk.
No, I can't. I don't want.
I'll show you my jackhammer.
No.
It's
Yeah, we'll definitely. I apologize, listeners.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So apparently, 7.5 just in one sum to one person. Like that's an insane number to me. Like that number 12 or 14 or whatever the actual number is, that's still a lot of money, but like $7 million to one person.
So many thoughts run through your head when you think about the amount of $7 million and what it's going to.
Oh my God. Yeah. So
yeah.
after that, it's July 22nd, which has now just recently happened. Triple H is named EVP of Talent Relations.
Yeah. Yes.
So
now, are we talking about NXT, or are we talking about Raw, or are we talking about the whole ball of yarn?
Whole ball of yarn.
Fantastic.
Yes. So when Vince stepped away, Bruce Pritchard was moved into head of talent relations as well as head of creative.
Right.
Right. And he has notoriously gone on record to say that he absolutely hates that job of head of talent relations, which I'm like, yeah, obviously, because you have to work with people and be good with people.
Right.
Right. And I don't think that man is. Right. So I was not surprised that once things started to go downhill, because this was just the beginning of the switches. Yeah. Right. So Triple H is named head of talent relations, and like everyone in the wrestling fandom world is ecstatic because we're like, this is actual change.
But see, this is Bruce Pritchard in himself. The whole thing, Bruce Pritchard has done a couple of good things, I think, with Vince's help. But most of the things has been kind of garbage. And I think the reason for that is simply because he's not good with working with other people. He's good at talking to Vince.
Sure.
that's where his talent lies.
Right.
Is being, not necessarily being a yes man for Vince, but just being able to talk to him.
Right, but also that cut off the line of communication.
Oh,
because
100%.
what would happen is talent would go to Pritchard and ask something or try to pitch something, right?
Mm-hmm.
It would go to Vince. Vince would immediately shut it down, and then inevitably it would trickle down and be a negative effect on the talent that actually asked about that.
Yeah.
Right?
Or Bruce would just, it would never even get to Vince in the first place.
Right, exactly. So he was both head of creative and head of talent relations. So they moved him out of talent relations and Triple H into that role.
Right.
Later on that same day, Vince tweets out, I have the tweet.
Oh.
At 77, time for me to retire. Thank you, WWE Universe. Then, now, forever together. That's the tweet. That is the tweet that
Almost the same
broke
thing
the
that he
internet.
said on Raw.
Exactly. So apparently this decision had been in the works for like a week prior to the
Right.
announcement. So I guess they were trying to get shit in order before they actually announced it. But apparently they told everyone except for the WWE superstars.
Really?
They did not know that Vince had retired until that tweet went live.
Now, I heard that when Brock Lesnar found out, he went apeshit.
He left.
Yeah, he did.
He left SmackDown, and I think he was quoted as saying, "If he's gone, I'm gone."
Yeah.
Yeah. Now he came back.
He did come
They
back.
they coerced him to come back because they were literally scrambling. Like we're literally, when we're recording this, SummerSlam is tomorrow, and this was the week before. This was the go home show
Yeah.
for SummerSlam.
Right.
Well, actually, no. Tonight's the go home show.
Tonight
but
is
whatever.
the
Anyway,
go-home show, yeah.
Anyway, it's 2 weeks out from SummerSlam, and your one half of your main event walks out and says, "If he's gone, I'm gone."
Yeah.
So basically, they start scrambling, try to figure out. People start theorizing who's going to go against Roman Reigns. Like, it was a shit show, apparently.
Now let's be fair too about this. This could very, very well be the work of the evil genius Paul Heyman, saying he probably did say, well, he's probably sitting back in the dressing room and he probably said, well, you know what? If he's gone, I'm gone. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to tell him you said that. You know what you should do? You should go out and get in your car and drive down the road. I'm going to call you. Okay. And then we're going to, let's not put it past this man. He has done some incredibly shady things and some just amazing story that also worked the boys, which is one thing that Paul loves to do, is work the boys. Because if you can work the boys, you can work the audience, and then nobody really knows what's going on.
Yeah.
So I think that's entirely possible. In fact, the whole Brock Lesnar thing, I'm inclined to believe that this is a Heyman stunt.
Okay. I mean, I can get behind that. That's
Again,
fine.
we're all speculating here.
Yeah,
Nobody
we don't
really
know.
knows.
We don't really know.
Yeah.
But so now, as of right now, it is July 29th. And what we have is Stephanie McMahon and Nick Khan as co-CEOs.
Yeah.
You have Triple H as head of talent relations and head of creative now.
Right.
So he is also now head of creative. Now, I wanted to go through all of that.
Yeah.
Because a lot has happened, one. And two, you need to have the context to know what we're going to talk about going forward. Because I feel like this is going to be a time in wrestling history that we look back and we're like, that's when things started to change, right? Because you can liken it to when the first WrestleMania came, right? Or when Vince bought WWE from his dad.
Right.
I feel like those are turning points, whether they be good or whether they be bad. They're still turning points on how we see it now.
Oh, you know what? Just the thought just came to me. Missed opportunity. We should have done a turning point show for this one. As what was the turning point? WrestleMania, the time that WCW was bought by Vince. It's all those. That's all. We missed the boat on that one.
I mean, I think
hindsight.
We just needed to talk about it regardless.
We did.
And I think that at first, when he put out there that he retired, I'm like, yes, Triple H is head of talent relations. That's a great move, right? Because there are people who, I mean, the ones that come to my mind are the Young Bucks that have gone on record of saying that Triple H is literally the only person that they would ever want to work with in WWE, right? Because from what I have heard from talent, he listens, and he actually tries to implement what they're saying. Right, so putting him in a talent relations perspective, that's great. Now having him as head of creative, I think he knows what he's doing.
I think it's a beautiful thing.
And you put someone who is in there. Now, I know that did Pritchard actually wrestle, or was he just a manager?
No, his brother wrestled.
Okay.
And was for a very long time a trainer. And quite a damn fine trainer, if I might say so.
Well, but I feel like when you have someone like Triple H who has the wrestler mindset and can see that perspective, like you can, I don't know, the stories that I think are going to come out of this are just going to be a lot better. And I have heard that Dunn might be the next one to go.
Well, God, I hope so, because I've hated this man. It's been well 20 years.
Yeah, and because, apparently him and Stephanie McMahon do not like each other at all.
No, I can get that, yeah.
If you have someone who is co-CEO of the company and they don't like you, I don't think you're going to last much longer. That's just a theory.
No,
right?
You're right.
But I'm not the only one that shares that opinion. There's a lot of people who are smarter in the wrestling world that have said that.
Let's go back to Triple H for a minute.
Okay.
Has there ever been a man or woman? Has there ever been a person in wrestling that has gotten so lucky in their career? Now granted, I understand that luck comes with hard work.
Sure.
And I know that Triple H is a hard worker. But why has there ever been anyone that the stars have just aligned for this man?
I agree 100%. And I've gone on record on this very show to say that I will never say anything bad about that man. Ever.
No.
Because he created a product that brought me back to wrestling and has made me probably even more of a diehard fan than I ever have been.
Yeah.
And now there's rumors that takeovers are coming back, which Gina and I are literally like, we just transitioned our show to be something different because they took takeovers away. And now they're going to bring them back, which...
We're going to talk about that in a minute.
I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad about it because I love takeovers, but
holy shit, is it going to get busy?
Holy shit, yes, it is. But yeah, I think that nothing but good can come out of any of this. And when it first happened, I think I was skeptical. I was like, I don't know. Is he really gone? Like, is it really gone?
And there's still that doubt because it's the world of wrestling. And do we really know?
No.
That's the thing.
But see, here's the thing with that though.
Right.
I give AEW that credit of working us to a point where we're like, wait, do they really feel that way? is this a work? Is this real life? Are they really upset? Is this really a thing? I don't trust WWE to have that type of story. Not yet.
Right.
I don't trust them yet. Mm-hmm. So once all of the stars have started to align now, I've become more and more justified in my belief that, like, okay, I think he actually is gone. But I don't think his presence will leave until Dunn and Pritchard are out.
That's a thing. And now here's a real question for you. Yes, I do believe that he's officially gone. Now let's talk about something else.
Okay.
Unofficially, is he still running things? And this is the question.
Do you want your tinfoil hat? It's right over here.
Well,
this is what you're getting into conspiracy theory shit right now.
Well, I don't even think it's conspiracy. I just think he has put himself on that golden throne and forced it down everybody's throat for decades and decades and decades that nobody can handle this throne except His Majesty.
Ew.
Now,
Ew.
Now, granted,
So gross.
now it's very easy for us on the outside to say, like, come on. But when you're on the inside and Stephanie sits down on said throne after she's been told, since she was a tiny little girl sitting on the lap of Andre the Giant, that the golden throne belongs to Vince. You think she's going to go to Daddy and saying, hey, what should I do about this?
I don't know. I honestly, I don't know the answer to that right now.
I think she will.
Yeah.
I think she's got to. And I think Hunter's going to as well.
Yeah.
So I think unofficially, Vince, he may not be at the gorilla position anymore, but he's still a phone call away.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, I think his presence is still going to be there.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, I hate to be morbid about this, but until that man is in the ground, you know, like,
you're not the first person to say that.
I know,
so it's
but,
okay.
I mean, they can't call on them.
Right.
But I do think that they have the capability, Triple H specifically, have the capability to run something on their own and have it be successful. Because there were years that Vince had no idea that NXT existed.
Yeah.
Right? And he ran that ship. I mean, they flew and they soared on that show, right? Until Vince got wind of it and then took it away.
Okay, let's be fair too. Now, Vince knew that NXT was there. Now, did he give a shit? Probably not.
To me, that's the same thing, though.
I agree.
Because if you have, you have this huge wrestling empire that you have built, of course you're going to know, like, the ins and outs and, like, what's happening and what's not happening. But if you don't give a shit about one of the brands, it's going to show either positively or negatively, depending on who's in charge of it.
100%.
So I think that, yes, he knew what was going on, but he didn't really know what was going on.
Right.
Because, like you said, he didn't care.
Yeah.
So Triple H kind of worked inhibited, right?
No, he absolutely did. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's possible. I think we're gonna have this weird transition period where things will start to look good and then maybe go back down, because there was a lot of criticism about that first Raw after Vince stepped down, where people were like, it's gonna be different overnight. And then it wasn't, and then people got pissed about that.
They did, and I'm gonna defend WWE on this one. Having had to take over a independent wrestling show that was able to work storyline when the owner bowed out, and I had to step in along with a couple other people. it was extremely difficult to do. And what we had to wait about 4 shows. One of them, the last one being not a pay-per-view, but a super show. Mm-hmm. Before we got our storyline on track, because it's insane to try to manipulate somebody else's story, especially when it's halfway written and we're almost at the end of it.
True, because all this has happened, and as we're recording right now, SummerSlam has not happened.
Right.
So they're in the middle of a build, quote unquote build. There's some stuff that I don't think they've really built that great of a story around, but I understand that. And that's why I'm kind of interested to see SummerSlam.
As am I.
Because I don't know. I've heard some people be like, we need to watch it because it's going to be slightly different. And I'm excited for the slight differences that you're going to be able to see throughout.
And I'll tell you what you're basically going to see. And again, this is coming from somebody that has done something similar, not anywhere near on the mass level that WWE is.
Sure.
But you're going to see some things that you expected to happen, like some people that you expect to go over are probably not. Mm-mm. There might even be a couple of disqualifications, maybe a time limit draw, a match, which really sucks during a pay-per-view. But I'm just here to tell you, when you see that, don't get upset about it, because there's a reason for it, and that reason is we had to do this in order to move forward.
So you're telling me to wait and see how it plays out?
I see what you're doing. Yes, that is what I'm telling you. Yeah, but
no, I'm
this
playing,
time
but yes.
We mean it.
No, I agree. I agree with you on that. And I mean, I feel like we're kind of at a nebulous spot where this is kind of a good spot to kind of transition. But
it's a very interesting time to be a wrestling fan.
It is, because you have, not only do you have all this happening, but you have another wrestling company that's out there, that's watching all of this, right? And you also have a lot of free agents that are still in this nebulous, like, okay, where am I going to go?
Yeah.
Like Johnny Gargano is like number 1 on my list right now, right? He is still a free agent.
And see, with this new change, what's gonna happen with NXT? Your precious NXT. Is it still gonna be a farm team, Shelby?
I'm not thinking about it right now, Doggz, because if I think about it too much, I'm going to get excited. And then if it's not, then I'm going to be sad, right? So I'm going to sit back and I'm just going to watch, and hopefully we can get back, maybe not all the way where we were, because we've lost a lot of people.
We have.
Right? We have lost over half of who made that show great, right? But I've heard some rumblings that it's a possibility that it might go back slightly to the way that it used to be.
Yeah.
And I think takeovers are a start to that. If it is, I'm hella excited, because, takeovers have always been my jam, just because it's perfect. It's 2 hours and maybe 6 matches, 5, maybe 6, right? It is just the perfect amount of time to watch, in my opinion. And it's always hard hitting. So I'm not optimistic enough to think that it's going to get back completely to black and gold brand.
Yeah.
But I do think it's going to go back a little bit.
Let me ask you this. What do you, I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Oh, you know how I love when you do that.
I am. When will Shelby Death Ray Patterson start watching NXT again? Oh, see.
That is a good question, but I I would say when I have seen on the social media, when I have seen stuff start to shift, because I'm still tapped into what's going on right now.
Sure.
I'm just not watching on the regular.
Right. It's the same thing I am with Raw and SmackDown.
Like, you know the gist of what's going on and what's happening. But I think that I will start watching again when I start to see change through social media. So like either vignettes on Instagram that show me that the grittiness that it used to be, or like an angle kind of going into a similar fashion. I think that's when I will start to tune in.
So what you're telling me is you're going to wait for the fans to tell you when to start watching.
No, I'm not saying that, because I'm watching official accounts.
Okay.
I'm watching like WWE accounts.
Okay.
But
Now,
I'm not going to take a risk to watch it if I'm still going to look and see a fucking pillow fight, okay?
Your time is very precious to you.
It is precious to me, okay? I have a dog. I have a husband. I have a house to take care of. Like, my time is too precious to sit and watch, garbage for 2 hours.
No, I agree. I agree. Now, I'm going to ask you again. What do you think about the main roster?
Like watching the main roster shows?
Yeah.
That's going to take a lot more convincing.
Right.
To be honest with you, because I already had a sour taste with the main roster because I'm such a fan of NXT and the way that they treat, or they had treated
the redheaded stepchild that is NXT.
Exactly. Like, please do not even get me started on Tommaso Ciampa right now. Do not.
Are you guys not on speaking terms anymore?
No, we are not. No, we are not. I'm sorry.
I mean, he's calling you. I mean, you should at least return his phone calls.
I'm sorry. When you align with The Miz, I stop talking to you. Okay? I can't.
But it's
that man needs to be nowhere near The Miz, and I'm not going to talk about it because I will do
Miz
another
and
whole
Logan
podcast.
Paul.
Oh my God. I'm getting off mic. Yeah, no, I can't. I can't. So it's going to take a lot more convincing on the main roster front than it is on NXT for me, which is understandable. I'm an NXT fan. Like, I'm going to be more willing to go back to them than I am the main roster.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unless they start treating them differently and just make it a continuation of their characters versus a hard stop and we're just going to completely put you through the wash and just completely rinse you clean of everything that you've done, then it's not worth it to me.
Now let's play this game for a second.
Okay.
Let's talk about some of the rumors we may have heard this week. Because I don't know about you, but I've heard quite a few things.
Yeah, like what?
Well, I've heard there's going to be some returning superstars.
Yeah, I've heard that as well. I can't remember exact names
Kara's
right
ears
now.
perked up a little bit when I said that.
Oh, I do know
Yeah,
one in
I
particular.
thought you might.
I do know one in particular, and your ears should be raised, Kara. That it is a rumor that with all of this going on, that Bray Wyatt might be coming back.
Say what?
Yes. They've been teasing that he might be coming back before all of this happened. But I think a lot of it has gained momentum with these allegations against Vince and all the investigations going on.
Right.
Because, I mean, I think it was him and Vince that had kind of some beef with one another, and that's why he ended up leaving or being let go.
It's so up in the air. It's hard to... I know that there was a disagreement with Wyndham and Vince.
Right.
But I think Wyndham's biggest deal was creative. Yeah. I think that was his biggest, is he had a problem with the creative department.
When you have a character like The Fiend, right, that it's so entrenched in who he is.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be hard to let it go. It's like a baby, right? Like, it'd be difficult for you to just hand off this thing that you've crafted. for them to just be like, okay, I'm going to do this to it. I'm going to take this away. We're going to add this. And now he's magic now, like it's
right.
I feel like I would be frustrated with that too. So maybe he thinks that Triple H can do better with that because, I mean, the Wyatt family was created in NXT.
Truth.
And Triple H helped birth all of that, right? So maybe he thinks that with him being head of creative, or people, maybe. I'm not going to speak for Wyndham, but like people who are speculating think that since Vince is gone and Triple H is in creative,
do you think
they would think he would come back?
Do you think the Bray Wyatt character could come back?
Just the Bray Wyatt character? Without the Fiend?
Well, the Fiend,
the
Bray
Fiend.
Wyatt, Wyndham, what have
I
you.
do. I
do?
do, 100%, because I think they're still making merch off that guy.
They are.
And I mean, I think we've talked about this on the show before. I mean, he was over with every single demographic you could possibly be over with, right? So I think if you just brought him back being like, hey, bitches, I'm back.
Yeah.
They'd be like, cool, okay.
Yeah.
Like, let's pick up where we left off. And I would hope they would keep Alexa out of it because they now have transitioned her away from all of it. And maybe down the road we would bring her back in. But like, yeah, so I do think it could work if he came back. Because he's not going to be known for anything else except this. So you can't slap anything else new on him. He's just always going to be Bray Wyatt.
Either he's gonna have to be Bray Wyatt. Now he can be. He could be himself, sort of, but there has to be a Bray Wyatt element. Maybe not necessarily the Fiend.
So kind of like how with the Fiend, there were two sides. So you kind of had the Mr. Rogers, Bray Wyatt, and then you had the Fiend.
I think they could take it back to the Wyatt family.
Okay.
I think we could go back there.
I wouldn't mind that, honestly. I mean, that was when I had started watching again, was when the Wyatt family was big. And, I mean, as creeped out as I was by him, I loved him, So I think that any iteration of him as Bray Wyatt, I think, could work.
Yeah.
Still.
And now, other rumors that we've heard. I don't know. Have you heard about Cody?
What about Cody?
That Cody is very upset along with Mr. Lesnar.
Are you kidding?
And, oh yes, is making the threat to go back to AEW.
If he does, I hope the Young Bucks just kick his ass right out. I'm dead serious. Like, no, you cannot. You cannot flip-flop like this. You cannot make such a huge, grandiose exit and a huge entrance back into another company. And then the moment someone who paid you millions of dollars leaves, you cut and run? No, I
But
don't
you know
like
what?
that.
I think you can.
Well, I'm sure you can,
I'll
but
tell
I don't
you,
want you to.
I'll tell you why. Some of my favorite wrestlers growing up. Let's Dusty Rhodes thank you. Dusty Rhodes for that matter. He was with the WWF, and then he was with Crockett, and then he went to Florida, and then he went back to Crockett. And then he was fired and then went to WWE, then went back to WCW.
I don't think he's really going to do that.
I feel like that's one of the more wild rumors.
He's under contract.
It depends on Stephanie.
I guess it depends on the terms of the contract too,
or the at-home Vince McMahon. I guess because she will. I think if that is a real thing, Stephanie, I believe, calls Vince. I think, and which that's what I was leading up to. Before.
Yeah.
I think she calls Vince and says, "What should I do about this?" And Vince either says, "Toe the line, make him work for it," or he's not making us as much money as we thought. Let him go.
Well, yeah, that's what happens when you tear your pec.
Yeah.
Like 2 months into your contract.
Oh, doesn't that suck? It's just terrible being human, isn't it?
I mean that Hell in a Cell match though, that was brutal. With
Oh
that
God, that
pec,
was
though.
tough to watch.
I don't know if I actually really enjoyed that now that I think back on it.
I really did. I really did because I love seeing that true testament of the human spirit. Even though Kara can tell you that it's one of the things that I make fun of is
Sure.
whenever you see somebody doing something amazing, I will true testament of the human spirit. And but the reality is I do respect it, and especially when it comes to wrestling.
I can't remember when Gina and I talked about Hell in a Cell what my synopsis was on that, whether I was for it or against it. But we talked about that on our episode of that. I don't know. That's a whole nother thing. If you want to listen to that, you can go back and listen to that
absolutely.
episode.
We have all of these, and they're free.
So, but yeah, I feel like with Bray Wyatt potentially coming back, I'm just going to say it. I think Johnny might come back. I really do.
See, this is another really good question.
I think him and Candace might come back. Because
You
if they're
think?
going to go anywhere, they're going to go together.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, they have a baby, right? And I feel like they're that type of like couple that's a unit, right?
Okay.
Wherever they go, the other one goes. So I do think, because Triple H was huge in their careers.
Yeah. One more rumor, and then we'll move on.
Yeah.
So let me ask you about one more person. Mm-hmm. And, oh my God.
Did it go out of your brain?
It did. It
yeah,
just
I saw
went
it.
out of my...
I saw it left. I saw it leave.
Wow.
That's okay. We can move forward, and then if it comes back, we can talk about it.
We're just going to move forward.
Yeah. So I think just overall, I mean, this is going to change the landscape of wrestling just in general.
Yeah.
Because this is a man who has been synonymous with this sport for a very, very, very long time. Mm-hmm. And with him being gone and other people starting to take control,
Yeah.
I think it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out in the next for the rest of this year, I think.
I will address the one last rumor because I just remembered it.
Great.
Braun Strowman.
No. Are you serious?
You don't think so?
No, I just hadn't heard that one.
Oh, yeah.
Kara is now completely sat up in her chair. The two people that she loves the most, mm-hmm. Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman.
Well, this is the thing:
That would make sense, though.
Would Braun Strowman up and leave his Control Your Narrative Federation?
Oh, absolutely. Are you kidding?
I kind of agree with you because
absolutely.
Control Your Narrative is not doing well. And
did you think it would? Maybe with a certain subset of people, but not with the general public.
Yeah, it's when super kicks aren't allowed.
Yeah,
that's.
that noise.
I mean, that's
stupid.
It was. I don't know. It was. I get the premise behind that.
Yeah,
but you want to go back to real wrestling. Just say you're doing old school wrestling. You don't have to put forth like if you do a super kick, I'm going to disqualify you. It's.
I mean, I think if that does happen, that would definitely move some needles for sure. I think because
Strowman was a very high paid wrestler.
He was, and also one of those that was very dramatic when he left.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, very much.
So I think if that is the case, if you had Braun and Bray and Johnny back in the mix, mm-hmm. I mean, I think it would change a lot.
I think it would be very interesting.
Yeah.
And I don't think Bray would come back without his buddies, one of them being Adam Shearer, Braun Strowman.
That's true. Yeah, because they were
tight.
Yeah. I mean, just crazy time.
Yeah.
Crazy time that we live in.
So I understand that this particular time you have a game for me.
I do. So I am getting payback right now.
Payback?
Yes, payback, because
Are you doing a crappy pay-per-view on me? Is that what's going to happen?
No, I'm not. I would never. So...
Because if you do, I'm going to do stomping ground on you.
Oh, shut up. So, listeners, if you've been following along with this, we've been doing 20 questions, wrestling edition. And I have been the one asking the questions. And the first time, did not get the answer. Second time, had to have some help from Kara, which thank you for the assist, Kara.
Nothing wrong with help.
I know, but I am a perfectionist and I wanted to do it on my own. So I've decided that I'm going to flip the script on you. I'm going to change my narrative, okay?
And you waited until I had been drinking to do this.
That was the plan all along.
Dirty pool, Shelby, dirty pool.
Yes, so I have a wrestler in my head. And I have expanded it outside of WWE.
Okay.
So I have a wrestler in my head. Mm-hmm. And you are going to ask me yes or no questions.
Okay. And I have 20 questions?
You have 20, yes.
Okay. Are you going to keep track of the questions? Or
I have... Hold on.
You,
Kara, are you keeping
Are you going
track?
to use my workout sheet?
I did reach for that, yeah.
I mean, you can flip it over on the backside.
No, it's fine. Producer Kara's got us covered. Okay.
All right. Okay. Is this wrestler currently active?
Yes.
Is this wrestler in AEW?
Yes.
And this is an NXT wrestler as well? Or at one point?
Was, yes.
Did he ever go to the main roster?
Yes.
Is this wrestler over 300 pounds?
No.
Okay. Is this wrestler male?
Yes.
Is this wrestler bald?
No.
What am I up to, Kara?
7.
Okay. All right. Is this wrestler on AEW's main show, Dynamite or Rampage?
Yes.
Okay.
I love being on this side of it, by the way. This is really fun. Not having to like squirm and think of questions. This is great. I want to do this forever. Okay.
It is fun, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Has this wrestler held a title in on the main roster?
On the main roster in WWE?
Mm-hmm.
No.
NXT World Champion, former?
Yes.
Okay. Is he a current title holder in AEW?
No.
Okay.
I can see it. You're starting to whittle down. Do you have it, Kara? Okay.
No, Kara doesn't know NXT.
I mean, you know AEW.
Oh, I just look at that giddy face. Oh, audience, I wish you could see that.
I started to shoulder shimmy. I'm not going to lie.
You know, her and her husband both do a shoulder shimmy when they get overly excited. Am I right, Gina? She.
Oh, yes, wrestling fans. Gina is also in the house. She's our ghost in the corner there.
I also love how everybody ran to Shelby's aid when she was doing 20 questions. Nobody is helping me out one bit.
No, because I'm nice.
And I'm not?
Hey, stop avoiding. Stop avoiding. How many questions is he at? Okay, you're at 11.
So, okay. Has this wrestler ever been in a stable?
No.
In NXT?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
She's helping you.
Yeah, I know. Well, I was gonna. She didn't turn her
I
microphone
was going to
on.
say it in the mic.
Tag team.
Yes.
Okay.
Tag team in NXT. Yes. Well.
Now, like a real tag team,
no,
not like
tag team on the main roster. Like they were put together, but they weren't like a formal team.
Okay.
I feel like I just gave you a really big hint.
Yeah. And I feel like I would ordinarily be doing a lot better at this, but I had been drinking, so I'm
again part of the plan.
Wow, and you're really testing my NXT knowledge, which
I will
is
say,
very
though,
lacking.
This person was on the main roster for longer than they were in NXT. That's why I picked them.
Were they really?
Yes, technically yes. From the time when he was brought in to when he moved up to the main roster, his time on the main roster before he left was longer than he was in NXT.
God, and I am racking my brain on the AEW roster right now, and I am hurting.
Would you want to go more appearance? Would that help?
I was just going to say, does he have long hair or short? Oh, wait, did you ask if he was bald?
I did ask if he was bald.
And the answer was no.
Yes.
Does he have long hair?
Yes.
But not in a group or stable. I know I've already asked that question. But,
not in WWE, no.
Okay.
Is he American or...
Yes or no question.
Is he American?
No. I think Gina might have figured it out.
Was he a tag team on the main roster?
You already asked that question.
On the main roster?
Yes, he was.
Okay. So they were was he a tag team champion?
No.
Okay, well that threw it out the window then. See, I thought I had it, and then you and then you took it away from me. Because I the two people that I had in mind, well, one of them doesn't have hair, so so I know that. But the one that does have hair was a tag team champion, so can't go with him. Oh boy, how many do I have left? 4. Oh wow, I am gonna lose this game.
I'm shaking with excitement. If you get it in these last questions, I'm going to be so upset.
And I'm trying to think. Okay, well, it can't be Daniel Bryan.
No.
And that's not a question. That's me talking out of my head. And it can't be Adam Cole.
Those Adam Cole would be way too obvious. I wouldn't pick that one.
It can't be Bobby Fish. can't be cow.
Okay. Okay. I see where you were going with that. Yeah.
Is this wrestler a white man?
Yes.
Shit. Okay. All right, I don't know this cracker.
You do. You do. You know who it is.
Oh my God! See, I can't believe you've done this to me.
It's harder than it looks, isn't it?
It really is. It really is. It's fun though. I'm really enjoying it.
Can I take a guess?
Take a stab.
Sure.
Aleister Black?
Yes.
I win. All right.
No, Kara. No. Kara
win.
wins.
Oh,
Kara
wait a minute.
wins.
So it's so you took a question and you got it right. As Aleister Black. So I have 3 questions left.
No, she won.
Is it Aleister Black?
No, that doesn't count. She won.
It's not Aleister Black?
It is Aleister Black, but
I
she
win.
won.
Hooray. All right.
Congratulations. Congratulations, Kara.
Thank you. You're welcome. My name's
you.
Doggz. But it's all right. Yeah, I win.
I really thought that you were going to get it when I said he wasn't American.
I was going to get there eventually.
Yes.
I think it was going to come down to the wire.
Kara's shaking her head. No, you were not going to get it.
Because, well, there was as soon as she said, "Is he American?" I was like, "Well, okay." I'm trying to think.
So just so everyone knows, Gina texted me her guess. She thought it was Neville, which is also a very good guess.
Well,
which is now Pac, right?
That was actually my first thought, but then I was
Yes.
like, wait a minute. I think he's over 300 pounds, or he's up towards
Is he?
that.
Neville? No. He's
I'm a
nowhere
terrible
near
judge
it.
of weight. What do
He's
I know?
very-
No, he's a cruiserweight, dear.
Wait, who am I thinking of?
I don't know.
I don't
who
know
you're
who you-
thinking of.
Never mind. I obviously don't know.
It's fine. But yeah, so I thought that one would have been good because he was on the main roster longer than he was in NXT.
He really was, and
Yeah.
you burned me on that
he
one.
came up with Ricochet. They were
Yes.
a tag team.
And the damnable thing about it, the one person that I was thinking about was like, okay, well, was on the main roster, tag team for a little while, didn't have a championship. You know what? I do remember Ricochet being on there, and Ricochet was on there, and you know where my brain went? I was like, it was with Velveteen Dream. And I
would never.
And I was thinking to myself, I was like, well, it can't be Velveteen Dream because he's in AEW. It can't be.
Yeah, and also, I would never put him as my guess. I would never put that man as my guess. Absolutely not.
Well done, Shelby. Yeah.
Thank you. I thought that was a good one.
You did. I still came out on top, but
No,
yeah.
you didn't. No, Kara came in with the saves.
I got it at 18.
No, we have it on record. We have it recorded.
That's
she
right.
came in and saved you.
She did help me with asking a question. When I had 4 left, she asked the 17th question. I asked the 18th question, getting it correct.
You know, you can
go.
believe whatever you want, but you can't rewrite history, and that's what happened.
Everybody
So-
can check the records. Kara asked the 17, I asked the 18, and I won.
You know what? I think this is a good way to wrap it up. I think this will be
This
really...
is the way Vince would have wanted it.
It's true, just chaos, just pure chaos. I think this is something that we can also revisit as time goes by.
Oh, absolutely, because our original idea for this show was going to be about Vince.
Yeah.
But it was going to be about Vince's cringiest moments.
Which I think we maybe down the road can do something like that. But I think this definitely takes more precedent. And I think we can definitely do a check-in episode.
This is more been like a news segment, a wrestling news segment.
Yeah, because, I mean, we kind of dipped into the past a little bit.
A little bit.
But, you know, what's happening right now in the present is very important.
It is
So-
because we're making wrestling history. Did anybody honestly think that Vince McMahon would retire from wrestling?
No, I think the answer to that is 100% no. Because, I mean, everyone, the way that you would ever hear people say it, it's say when Vince is gone. And what they mean by that is when Vince
dead.
is dead, right? And I mean, everyone is like, it's not going to change until that happens. And which I still, from our conversation, it may still not.
But it may not.
I think people thought that this man was going to maybe particularly try to die in the ring, right? Maybe that was what he wanted.
I think that's what a lot of people thought.
Or he would die in Gorilla or something like that, right? Mm-hmm. So I think with him stepping, this definitely changes the projection of how things are going to go from now on.
Yeah. This was definitely a different way to go with this as a rewind.
I like it because I think you wouldn't be able to really deep dive into when you and Chris are going over SummerSlam. You guys would not be able to fully cover this.
No, we wouldn't have time.
This was the appropriate episode to do this on.
Absolutely. And we didn't really rewind, but we did a little. We just like the
only
very rewind
recent
a month
past.
or so.
But I mean, speaking of SummerSlam,
we do have SummerSlam coming up. Well, as we're recording, it's going to be tomorrow.
Yes, and so I think that'll come out probably the week after that, I would say.
Next week sometime. Probably around the same time that This Is a Rewind comes out.
And, me and Gina have been very gracious, and we're just letting you guys, cover SummerSlam.
And we appreciate it.
It's nice. Yeah. No, I'm glad. I'm glad that you guys are coming on, and I think it's going to be an interesting show. For sure. I'm excited to listen to it.
And when you think about it, last year's SummerSlam was so upsetting.
It was.
To everybody for a multitude of reasons. You can call it a bad show. You can say there was a particular match that upset you. But SummerSlam was a bad show. What is going to happen 1 year from?
Yeah.
And here we are.
Yeah.
1 year later. What are we going to see in this historic moment, this historic pay-per-view?
Yeah.
They're already calling it a new era.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
I think it'll be really fun to watch for sure.
Yeah.
And so we have SummerSlam, and then Labor Day weekend is just going to be insane because we have Clash at the Castle.
Oh, boy.
Right? On September 3rd. Mm-hmm. You have All Out. Is it All Out or All In?
It's All Out.
Okay. All Out on September 4th. And then it's a potential takeover on September 4th as well.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to figure something out.
You know what? This is when Long Walk Podcast comes together, and we're gonna work this thing out. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna make this happen.
Yeah, we're gonna figure it out, and it's gonna be fine. But Gina and I will both be out of town that weekend, as well as Kara will be out of town that weekend.
Now,
so
why in the hell would you take a vacation at that particular moment? Why, Shelby? I ask you.
I think, we just decided, it might be fun to, celebrate a special time in someone's life.
What? What special time could possibly be more important than SummerSlam? I'm sorry, All Out.
Gina says, tread lightly, sir. Yes, Gina and friend of the pod, Robert Bradford, are getting married in November. Yes, and we are celebrating her bachelorette weekend that same weekend. I did not take into account that literally every single wrestling show would happen that same weekend. But it's fine. We're just going to hunker down that Monday when we get back. We're just going to watch all of it, and it's going to be fine. We're going to get our wine and order some food, and it'll be great.
Absolutely.
Well, Doggz, if people want to follow you, where can they do that at?
Well, you can follow me on my Twitter. I don't know why you would want to do that because I never post anything on my Twitter.
You retweet whatever I post, so that's nice.
Yeah, I do. So basically, if you want to follow Shelby, you can follow her or follow me because it'll be the same thing.
Well, what is that handle?
And that's at Immortal 2 Dogs And if you want to follow me on TikTok, I don't put a lot up there either, but every once in a while I may retweet something, or I don't know. Is that proper to retweet on TikTok?
I am not on TikTok, so I am the
Retalk?
Stitch.
Stitch? Well, Stitch is like...
There's no reposting on TikTok.
Actually, there is.
Oh, God.
Yeah, because I've been reposting a lot lately.
Okay, great. Well,
I don't know anything about TikTok, so I leave that domain to you, sir.
Yeah, so you can find me at This Is a Work on TikTok. You can also find me at This Is a Work on Instagram.
Awesome. So if you want to follow me personally, you can do that at SlayAllRay at Instagram. If you want to follow This Is a Takeover, I'm just going to plug that one first.
Let's do it.
If you want to follow This Is a Takeover on Instagram, you can do that at This Is a Takeover and this_pod on Twitter. If you want to follow Long Walk on Twitter, you can do that at Long Walk Podcast and Long Walk Podcast on Instagram.
Fantastic.
And I'm pretty sure we're also on Facebook too, so go check us out there.
So This Is a Work is going to be covering SummerSlam next week.
Yes.
So as I be on the lookout for that, and that's going to be me and Chris, the Fashion Plate Barnes. I feel like me and Chris Barnes are going to be the only ones watching that pay-per-view because everybody's busy this weekend. It's crazy. There's a lot going on.
Yes, and also to plug that, if you are in the Charlotte area, if you want to go see some awesome live theater, check out Julius Caesar. That's Free Reign Theater Company's Julius Caesar at Rural Hill. You can look that up at Free Reign Theater on Instagram, and it should be in their pin link.
Yeah. I don't know the address, but it's Neck Road.
It is. All of that is
in
on.
Huntersville.
All of that's on their Instagram. So come out, support live theater for everybody. And I've heard it's a really good show.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have a lot of people who are friends of the pod in that show.
Probably a third of our listeners. So
Hey, 30 year listeners, bud. 30 year
how
listeners.
dare you?
Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight here in Kayfabe Outpost 1 for David Two Dogs Hayes. I'm Shelby Death Ray Patterson, and it's fun looking back at the past, but live in the present, and as far as the future goes, we'll call it in the ring.
I'm clearly the winner.